Greetings, my name is Bongani Cele from Duduza, pastor of Danota Baptist Church. Today I want to talk about Ukuthwala, translated in English to carry. This is a practice widely spread in the African context, in African churches. Let me first give you the context of Ukuthwala, then the definition of Ukuthwala, and then I want to explain how Ukuthwala, to carry, has found its root into the church. Ukuthwala, or to carry, is whereby somebody who wants to be rich goes to the witch doctor or goes to a sangoma, and they are told to sacrifice their children, say their daughter or their son. And this practice is so dangerous because if you enter into it, it demands that you sacrifice someone close to you. And the objective of sacrificing those people is for you to become rich. So it is called Ukuthwala because it is a burden you have to carry. If you want to become rich, you sacrifice people who are close to you. And a lot of people have moved into this practice because of the poverty that we have in Africa. But sadly, this practice has found its root into the church. Many pastors now practice and they do this Ukuthwala. They go to witch doctors, they go to sangomas because they want their churches to grow. And I've often seen that a lot of them, when they do these practices, their objective is to become rich and to have huge and big mega churches. It is a dangerous practice because you practice this knowing that you have killed somebody, knowing that you have shed blood, but because of wanting money and the love of money, many pastors do this. In addition to this practice, this is what they do. They are told that they should go buy a goat, perhaps a sheep, even a cow or pig head. You slaughter that goat, you take that goat head or that cow head to the sangoma or the traditional healer, and then he will perform some witchcraft on it, and he'll give it back to you as the pastor. And they'll instruct you to bury that head right at the entrance of the church door, or even at the entrance, or even at the pulpit. And when that head is buried, and as time goes on, as it rots and the maggots increase, so the number of people attending your church will increase. So as those maggots increase, then you prosper even more. It is a dangerous practice because a lot of African pastors have found root into this, and a lot of people are flocking into these practices. And that is why I do believe that, and I pray that God raises godly men, biblical men, even raise seminaries like Christ Seminary to come along and raise godly African pastors who will stand for the truth and proclaim the gospel in the midst of this perverse generation. And it is tough because a lot of people enjoy these churches. They love crowds. They like being around places where they're entertained. But it's so dangerous because a lot of the souls of men have been crucified because of such practices. Ukuthwala, you have to lose someone you love. And that's why it's called Ukuthwala. It's called to carry a burden. Meaning if you sacrifice your sister, that is a burden you have to carry for the rest of your life because you want to be rich. And this Ukuthwala has made its root into the church. Pastors no longer want to struggle. Pastors no longer live by faith, trusting in the provision of God, trusting in the sustenance of God. So they've did what? They've made themselves rich by killing and undergoing these rituals. And thirdly, even the church members. I remember there's a story of this one family. This lady, she retired and she took all her package and she gave to the pastor. Not willingly, but because she was under the spell of this Ukuthwala to carry. This spirit brings so many people in the church, and some of them even give their last cent to make the pastor happy because of this practice. Well, I just want to speak to the young pastors who are just entering ministry. Because I've noticed even in the African context, many of them enter because they see all these flashy cars. They see all these big houses and the bodyguards that these pastors have. And they think this is life. But those pastors are not really walking in truth. So I want to say to the young people, if you come into ministry, you got to trust in the provision of God. Like the early church fathers, like the reformers, in the time of the Great Awakening, those people trusted in God, trusting in His provision, trusting in God's goodness. So I want to say to these young people, the young pastors coming in, trust God. The road ahead will not be easy, but God is faithful. and God will provide. He shall not leave us nor forsake us. We should just trust His promises and trust His provision, but also walk along sound men, godly men. I remember when I first came into ministry 19 years ago, there was this old man who came alongside me. He was a sound man. He helped me a lot because that stage was a stage of confusion. I was still going through a transition in my theological standing. But he came along and he helped me and he showed me the truth. So likewise, young pastors, draw near to sound men, godly men, mature men who will help you walk in truth. Do not rush for fancy cars, fleshy churches, but trust in the provision of God, because spiritual growth is immense. It weighs more than numerical growth. Spiritual growth counts more, because growing in numbers, you find you just have goats, but we need men who stand and feed the sheep.